Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Java Tutorials hosted by Isle Demon. In this episode, we're going to go into Java conventions, specifically naming conventions. So let's just jump right into it. So, as we mentioned earlier, when you're creating packages in Java, packages should be started with a lowercase letter. For example, if we want to make a tree package, you would say package tree names. And in terms of classes in Java, you want to make sure their first letter is capitalized. For instance, within the tree names package, we want to say public class tree, and we can see that the T is capitalized. So let's jump into the Eclipse and see how that applies. Alright, so we had our Hello World project as seen here, but let's make a new project for the sake of this episode. So let's make a new project. Actually, what you want to do is click File, New, Java project. And let's call this project name Project Convention. Open that up, go to your source folder, click New, Package. And remember that packages in Java must be started with a lowercase letter. Package Convention. And then the subsequent words can be capitalized. Alright? Now within that package, you want to create a new class and call it tree. As we can see, the package was lowercase, but the class was capitalized. Alright, so jumping back into the Java conventions document, let's go in depth about the variable naming conventions that exist. Alright, so remember, variable names are case sensitive in Java, so my variable is not the same as capital my variable. And in Java, variables may begin with a letter, the dollar character, or the underscore character, as shown over here. And by Java convention, you want to avoid starting with the dollar or underscore, though. And as we saw with the package, I used camel case to write package convention. And you just want to use camel case as much as possible because it's a really nice convention that has been developed by Java developers over the year. For example, you could say int my variable. As you can see, the first letter is not capitalized, but subsequent characters are capitalized. So int temperature of water, or string student name. And you want to make sure that these variable names are as descriptive as possible, as demonstrated by the bullet right here. And that just helps make your code much more readable, and when you're coming back to look at it again, it's much more easier to debug and make sure it's running well. And if you ever need to change anything, you know exactly where to go to. Alright, in the previous episode, we also talked about constants, and we briefly mentioned that all the letters should be capitalized and all the words separated by the underscore character. So for example, if we want to see how many apples are in a tree, we would put final int number of apples. Alright, so let's jump back into our Eclipse now and come up with descriptive variables for a tree. So for example, we want to make a string called type of tree. And as you can see, I've used camel case here. And for this type of tree, let's make it a pine tree. And what else does a tree have? Well, a tree has leaves, so we can make a boolean has leaves, and then we'll make that a true because a pine tree has leaves. And for the next part, we can say how many apples are in that tree, and we want this to be a constant because we know the number of apples in a tree is not going to change that frequently unless there's a multitude of apples already. So let's say final int number of apples, and let's make that 500. So we pretty much described a tree. So we said what type of tree it was. Here we said it has leaves by setting the boolean to true, and we came up with a constant to describe the tree. Well, the trick is pine trees don't actually have apples, so let's change this to apple tree. But other than that, Looks good to me. All right. Thank you for watching this week's episode. Please hit that like or subscribe button below, and I'll see you guys on our next episode.